Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now the very end of April of 2023, and ever since the Mandalorian Season 3 finale debuted on Disney+, really wrapping up Din Djarin's story along with Grogu and Bo-Katan, we also have a lot of things happening with the future of Star Wars by Jon and Dave with Mando Season 4, Ahsoka Season 1 and 2, and beyond, all of which, by the way, have no input, creatively speaking, by Kathleen Kennedy. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So there's been a lot of things happening with Kathleen Kennedy lately. Anything ranging from her struggles with Indy 5, her overall problems with the Disney executives involving her placement as the president of Lucasfilm and handling everything Star Wars, or at least everything to do with the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew for now, and exactly where that's all heading. Now, we know that for the longest time, Bob Iger, the CEO, along with many other executives and board members, have had this long, planned out strategy to get her out and to fire her by this August after Indy 5 debuts on the big screen, to kind of just create a nice slow transition after, of course, Indy 5 is all said and done with, and then just boot her out. Now, the executives have been coming up with various ways to really create a very fair reason to fire her, and basically the most recent plan, I think a lot of fans are really going to love this, a lot of fans are going to hate this, because it does indeed give Kathleen Kennedy a fair shot, based on exactly, what's been happening behind closed doors over at Disney. So let's tap right into all of this and exactly what this means, because we have been discussing this for quite a number of months now and exactly what this has all meant. So right now, Lucasfilm is gearing up for the Ahsoka series debut by this August on Disney Plus to be the home run of the Star Wars franchise. However, Disney executives recently have come to an agreement involving the whole Kathleen Kennedy fire plan. The proposal, which began in early April, has now been finalized that the decision to fire Kathleen Kennedy by this August is going to heavily rely on the success and/or failure of the Dial of Destiny. Many executives felt that this was a necessary step to give Kathleen Kennedy a fair chance to stay at Lucasfilm, while other executives tried to challenge this along with many of the board members. Disney felt that they would appear to be very unprofessional if they fired Kennedy after the success of Indiana Jones 5, and that this is the main reason why they are moving ahead with this plan, to maintain a specific image in the off chance if Indy 5 becomes a major hit or a big success. With the plan now to fire Kathleen Kennedy out of Lucasfilm after Indiana Jones fails, if it fails at the box office and with fan reception and reviews, this is how Disney now plans to fire Kennedy by the middle of August from Lucasfilm and have full plans to replace her with producer Dana Brunetti to take over the role of president of Lucasfilm. So before I get to the next piece, guys, let me just say one thing about this, is that we've talked about Dana Brunetti before in the past. Basically, he is the top candidate right now to take over Kennedy's position if she does, end up getting fired after a potential failure of Indy 5. Dana Brunetti, by the way, made an entire movie dedicated to Star Wars fans. It's a movie called Fanboys. Check it out. It's a comedy film, mind you. But in there, you can see that it really is like a love letter to the fandom, or at least what the fandom was like back in the 90s and the early 2000s. But looking where Kathleen Kennedy stands right now, we know that there's been a lot of problems with Indiana Jones 5. Not quite as large as the issues that came along with The Rise of Skywalker when Kathleen Kennedy was doing so many different reshoots and excluding so many different scenes. We do know that Indy 5 has gone through some minor reshoots, nothing super major or anything like that, but there has been a reduction in the amount of the de-aging of Harrison Ford sequences, so that kind of got dialed down a little bit there for the Dial of Destiny film. Now, why did she dial that down? Who knows? Who knows? This could very well be something very much similar, for all we know, comparison to how she got rid of all the de-aging scenes of Mark Hamill as Luke in the flashbacks from episode 9. It could be something like that on a more minor scale. That's as far as we know, but everything related to this, alright, we know that the Disney executives have come to this agreement to give Kathleen Kennedy a fair shot, not because of her though, because of them. They're worried that if they were to fire Kathleen Kennedy after Indiana Jones 5 becomes a huge success, that it would literally destroy their image. I don't believe so, because you guys gotta remember, and I think they have to remember, is that she's not just a part of Indiana Jones 5. She was a part of Star Wars. She was a part of many of the shows like Kenobi and Boba Fett and Mando Season 3 and stuff around those lines that got so much fan criticism. And the Ahsoka show, by the way, she had no input in at all. And I think that's going to be one thing that's really going to be very interesting. I think that's why the trailer, in my opinion, is very well crafted. It's why Dave Filoni himself even said a couple of weeks ago that he had full freedom over the script and over the story. I think he was low-key trying to tell us that Kathleen Kennedy was not involved directly and officially there. But we know that behind closed doors, Kathleen Kennedy was not involved in Ahsoka. Period. The end. This is a 100% Dave Filoni project. So, overall, I think at the end of the day, the fact that they want to get Dana Brunetti on board is a great thing, because he's a Star Wars fan at the end of the day. He's also a businessman. You know, he knows what he's doing, and he knows what the fans want and what the fans want to see, either on the big screen or at home. So, obviously, Kathleen Kennedy is really trying to do things and everything in her power to really kind of make Indiana Jones 5 the best film possible. Now, do I personally think that Indiana Jones 5 is going to be a success or a failure? Look, I think it's going to get a lot of criticism regardless. The trailer may come across as very entertaining, very well crafted as well, but we all have to remember and go back to The Last Jedi. Trailers were amazing. In fact, the trailers got me more hyped up for any other Star Wars movie in history. There was something about The Last Jedi that really was something that really got you geared up for Luke's return. Let's be honest, that was the main thing. It wasn't so much about Snoke or Kylo Ren and Rey, it really was all about Luke's return into the story. I mean, that really is what made those trailers and TV spots so very special. You know, it wasn't just that though, it was also the editing, it was the music, stuff around those lines. And then we got the movie, and it ended up being a very big disappointment. And that could very well be similar with Indiana Jones 5, for all we know. I'm not saying that's going to 100% be the case, but it could very well be the case. And if it is, that's good news for a lot of fans that have been very unhappy with Kathleen Kennedy, like myself. So there's a lot of things that are going into this right now. They've agreed to this plan, this strategy that's going to go into full effect by May 1st. So that's basically a concrete thing now, by giving Kathleen Kennedy this shot to either get fired or to stay at Lucasfilm strictly until her contract comes to a close in 2024. And if she does get that shot to stay at Lucasfilm, let's hope she does not renew her contract past 24. Because then she wouldn't be staying much longer anyway, even if Indiana Jones 5 becomes a big success. So if she doesn't stay that long, in the case if she is chosen to stay, it would be technically still a win-win, because she wouldn't be staying much longer. And we gotta remember that she doesn't have much creative power anymore, anything past the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, for now at least. So let's just cross our fingers that it remains like that. So, guys, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.